Welcome in to Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps, Jerel, Hendricks, back on the boards as always, guys. It's been a long spring, a long summer, man, and we are right around the corner from football season. We are here tonight with our 1A, 2A, and all of SCISA season preview show. John, I cannot wait to get this thing started up here this week.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You know, I was looking at the 1A and 2A classifications, and, you know, we looked at and we talked amongst us about the reclassification, and it is big shakeups, especially in 1A and 2A. It's not going to be your typical 1A football, not this year.
No, not at all. And we'll kind of get into that here in a minute as well. But if you guys tune in for the first time, we really appreciate you. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter /X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains. That's MOVINCHAINS. MovinChains.com is our website, and our podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. We do a weekly preview show every Tuesday night, 7:15. So we'll be live next Tuesday for our Week 1 preview show, and tomorrow night we'll be live 7:15 for our 3A, 4A, 5A season preview show. So hope you guys will tell all your friends, share the post, share the video here, and like, subscribe, all of that great stuff. And while you're here, support the boys, support the work that we're doing. Buy some Moving the Chains merch. Since last year, we got some new stuff. A nice little dry fit athletic tee here. And I've been wearing mine, John. I'm sure you have as well. Really good stuff here, really high quality, along with a kind of a performance hoodie. A little bit nicer here, big front on the logo. Really cool stuff there. Still got our old school hoodies, kind of the stone color, the gray color, some T-shirts, a navy blue, a gray, a black. Got all that. Some great hats, Richardson hats, gray front, gray back, black back, all type of stuff. Toboggans, and also some stickers. Support the boys, man. Everything you guys do helps us make this show bigger and better, get better equipment, get better content. So really appreciate you supporting us. You can email us at info@movinchains.com or send us a DM on any social media platform if you want to do it that way. So hopefully you'll support us and support us growing this program here across the state. Jerel, any comments from the chat? Anybody wanting to shout out anything before we get rolling here with the 1A rank? Zach says the boys are back. So you know what that means? High school football is back. No better feeling. Exactly right, Zach, man. You know, we've got some jamborees this Friday, some scrimmages last week, scrimmages last night. Man, it's great to see that football flying through the air again this season. Brandon says, what's up? Football season's finally here. On 17 more days until Clinton takes on Lawrence. Cannot wait for that. Always a good rivalry matchup there with the Red Devils and the Raiders. Edwin says, yo, what's up, Edwin? Good to have you, man. Appreciate you joining us here tonight on the show. Deon says, what's up, guys? Peachfield's in the building. We appreciate you, man. We'll certainly talking about that 2A squad here in a little bit. Travis says, welcome back, guys. It's football season. Let's go. Yes, it is, man. Excited to have everybody back here joining us tonight.
Let's jump into it, boys. Let's do this.
We will do it. Let's start with the 1A ranks, John. You know, as we've said over the years, we don't like a lot of the polls that are out there. So we're not using our poll. We don't have a poll ready yet. We don't have one out. We're kind of waiting to get our, fill out a few things. But there are some polls out. We're going to use those kind of as some starting points for talking about a classification. We'll put it that way. So, John, if you want to, let's roll through 10 through 1, the receiving votes category in 1A, and then we will talk through some of the teams that we like, dislike, and kind of go through it that way.
Yeah, we'll start with who was close but not quite in the top 10 receiving votes. We've got Sherrall, Barnwell, Johnsonville, Blackville, Hilda, Lakeview, Hunter Kenner Tyler, Laddit, and C.A. Johnson. A lot of big names, not in the top 10 to start the season off. So a little motivation for those guys right off the bat here. Then starting at number 10, you got Batesburg, Leesville. At 9, Carvers Bay. 8 is Cross. We've got a tie at 6 between Louisville and Lamar. Louisville getting one first-place vote as well. 5, you have Central Pageland. 4 is Hampton County getting one first-place vote. 3 is Abbeville getting one first-place vote. 2 is Bamberg Earhart getting 7 of those first-place votes. And number 1, a newcomer in 1A this year, Fairfield Central getting 5 of those first-place votes as well.
And 1A is a bit different this year. You guys, if you missed the off season, we had a reclassification. And what they did basically, in the past couple of years, 5A has been split into two divisions. That is no longer the case. There's one 5A, one 4A, one 3A, one 2A. But now there are two 1As. They're going to break those out when the playoffs come, a big 1A and a small 1A. I've got a video hopefully come out tomorrow kind of explaining that, because it's 25 schools in both halves. Hard to know who's in what. But this poll encompasses all of them, not just one. So we'll kind of go through that. But I think Fairfield Central at 1. They're a really good football team, John. Kamari Jones back at quarterback. They got some really good receivers in Kalen Culp and Taquaria Shannon. Some speedsters out wide, especially for them. Running back Kenyon Douglas is a good player. Wayne Johnson on defense kind of leads that group there for Coach Davis. But Bamberg Earhart, it's hard not to have them number 1. If you ask me, what they did last year, just demolishing everyone throughout the season and the playoffs, and they got so much talent back for Coach Crosby. Brian McMillan, John, last year his stat line, I don't know if you guys have appreciated how good Brian McMillan was. 4,225 passing yards, 951 rushing yards, 47 passing touchdowns, 23 rushing touchdowns, and 90 tackles. That is an unreal season for the quarterback there for the Red Raiders. He is back again this year. Tons of weapons around him as well. Charles Anthony Williams had 20 touchdowns. Rocky Walker, Jason Humans, and Ahmad Busby. Coach Crosby's bunch is loaded. Those top two teams there, John, that's as good as you'll find, man. Those are two really, really good squads there with the Griffins and the Red Raiders.
Yeah, and then when you take another step back and you look at 3 and 4, Hampton County might be my favorite team in the top 5. This is a team that was 2A last year, lost the state championship, a really, really good football team. And talent is not a question mark for that group either. And then you talk about Abbeville at number 3. You can't have a conversation whether it's 1A or 2A football and not talk about Abbeville.
Yeah, agree. They got a couple guys that are kind of fighting for some carries there with Williams and Brown and Marshall, trying to get that figured out for Coach Nichols. Hampton County, you lose all do everything with Jalen Singletary, a guy who I think had 40-plus touchdowns last year. Hard to replace him. Jay Sean Williams, Nigel Fripp, a couple guys that got to step up on offense for them. They're really good up front, as they've always seemed to be with Jones and Frazier and Williams. That's a team that's very intriguing to me. And if, played really good football the last few years, once they kind of combine those two schools there, Coach Hanna has done a great job making that into a consistent, title contender year in, year out. And like I said, had another nice run last year. The Central team at 5 is really intriguing to me. A team that kind of came onto the scene out of nowhere last year, had a really good run all the way to the lower state final. Quarterback Dwayne Llewellyn, he's back. He's a big-time playmaker. He's going to have to do it all for them. He's going to have to run it. He's going to throw it. He's going to have to really lead Coach Easton's bunch there. They lost a lot of pieces around him, but they still do have Dalian Fair, and defensively Martell Rubin, Jalen Davis, and Marzavius Allen. I'm really intrigued, John, by these two teams tied at 6. Two teams at Louisville and Lamar that have been really impressive the last couple of years, really been big-time contenders in the playoffs, and they both lost a lot. Louisville, some to graduation, some to transfer. Lamar, a lot to graduation. With Louisville, you still got Jalen Douglas, A.J. Price. Lamar, you've got a veteran offensive and defensive line led by Roy Vest up front. DQ Green's going to be the playmaker for them. But you got to replace Zori Pierce, a big-time quarterback who had done a lot of good for them over a long period of time. Interested to see what Coach Usher and Coach Boyd bring back this year and who they can really develop into some playmakers for those groups.
Yeah, I believe Louisville is replacing their quarterback this year as well, aren't they?
I believe so, yes.
Because I watched him play last year, and he really, he could take over a game. He could really put it on his back. And that's replacing players is a big deal no matter where it is on the football field. But at this level, replacing a quarterback with that kind of production and that kind of impact on the game, that's a really, really big set of shoes to fill. But, those are two really good staffs. They've been really good for, Lamar for as long as I can remember. Louisville, certainly for the last handful of years, they'll find a way to step it up. And I don't think they're going to be moving a ton in this top 10. I think we're going to see them right around in that middle all year round.
Yeah, and then finishing off with Cross, 3-year starter Tyler Harris, a quarterback. Mekhi Green's a big-time running back, 1,600-plus yards, 16 touchdowns last year. You lose Caden Ramsey, of course, but you got some good playmakers, like I said, with Green and Harris. Jalen Broughton up front defensively, Wilson, Jones, Smith, and Levine. Great players for Coach right there. And, Cross is one of the teams in that smaller 1A I think has a real chance to win a state title, even though they're ranked 8th here in this overall 1A poll. Number 9, Carver's Bay, a team that kind of surprised folks last year. I think they were unranked to start the season, had a big run, didn't lose a game, I think, until Bamberg Earhart in the playoffs. They return, I believe, 9 starters on both sides of the ball. Christian Simmons, a 3-year starter at quarterback, running back, linebacker Dominique Walker, Jaquan Hanna, a guy I like a lot at defensive end and tight end, great player for Coach Richard. That's a group that I feel like is improving to head in the right direction. And then look at the 10 spot. Batesburg-Leesville is a tough one for me to figure out, John. Had a great run 2 years ago in the playoffs. Last year fell a little bit short of what they wanted to do, I feel like. And they lost a ton of talent. Katie Witt is now gone. Amadre Wooden is now gone. All those guys who have been the playmakers the last couple of years have moved on. I don't know what to expect from Coach Lawson's bunch. Batesburg-Leesville, a traditional powerhouse, always going to have some talent, you would think. But, man, that is a lot to replace there for the Panthers.
Yeah, out of the whole top 10, Batesburg-Leesville might be the toughest one for me to really get a good gauge on as well. And, and being an optimist, I think if you're Batesburg-Leesville, frames this as a good reset. You had a ton of talent last 2 years. Last year, you get bounced in the second round of the playoffs. Last year, it seemed like nothing quite went right for this Panthers program, especially with all the talent that they had. And now you got a chance. Hey, you're in 1A now, so you've got a little bit of confidence. I assume they're going to be in that higher level 1A classification. But, that gives you a little more confidence in being a real contender again. And it gives a chance for new guys to step up. And it's, I think this really fits well for them to have a strong year. We said that last year, though. So you got to, all these things sound great, but once you get on the football field, you got to make it happen. And we'll see, early on with Pittsburgh-Leesville, it'll be interesting to see who from that team can step up and what that team looks like this year.
Yeah, going to be really interesting. Now, I feel like I said, obviously, we talked about it. The 1A is getting split for the playoffs. But if you look at this top 10, it feels like there's some really, really heavy hitters early on, 1, 2, maybe even 3 and 4. But after that, I feel like there's a decent bit of a drop-off really into that back half of the top 10. Like, I just don't know if you see a team like, Batesburg-Leesville, if they're ready to compete with Fairfield Central right now. I don't know. And it just feel like there's a big discrepancy. Obviously, 1 through 10 there should be, but it just feels like the cliff is really steep there, whether it's at number 3 or number 4 or wherever it is. It feels like a pretty high step back to me from some of those top contenders like a Fairfield Central or a Bamberg Earhart.
Yeah, if you, I would draw the line at 5. You look at Central Pageland, really good team last year, returning their quarterback, huge deal there. And you look at, hey, go to Louisville. All right, they're replacing a lot. If Central Pageland and Louisville played in week 0, give me the Eagles. I like where they're at early on. But, what I think is so intriguing, you look at Cross, right, at number 8. This team, we've talked more and more about Cross, I feel like, every year, last few years, deservingly so. But they're probably not going to make a ton of noise. They're probably not going to be a big splash on the, scoreboard. Probably 2/3, 3/4 of the season. But once you get into the playoffs, they find another gear and they really play their best football in the fall. And, I think the season's going to be fun to watch with the 1A, especially this year, because you have the 2 different divisions and you got such a discrepancy of perceived ability and talent. But we're going to, again, as every year, we're going to be proved wrong and some of these guys are going to step up. But I think this top 10, I think there's a lot of question marks, but I think they're all really, really good programs and they're going to have good teams. But who steps up and who surprises us with, those new names, the new Zori Pierces of the world? Who are those guys going to be the step on the scene this year? That's going to be the really fun part to watch. Yeah.
And, there's a couple guys in the receiving votes and just in that level too that I feel like could be contenders this year as well. Barnwell, a historic program, and a really intriguing one to me is Blackfield Hilda as well. With Wilson Elko not playing football this year, Blackfield Hilda is getting all the Wilson Elko kids. And if you get 2 starters, 3 starters from that group, that's going to be a really good football team with Coach Dwayne Garrick taking over. They're going to be in the small 1A playoffs. They're a team that could get hot. Barnwell, similar. I believe, someone correct me if I'm wrong here, I think this is the last year of those schools not being consolidated. So, really proud history there with Barnwell and with Blackfield Hilda. you know they want to go out with a strong run before they become that county high school here in a year or so. So that'll be really intriguing to me. Jerel, a team I like a lot. They have had talent the last couple of years, have made a deeper and deeper playoff run. You got Nick Gordon, maybe the fastest kid in the state, out wide for them. Justin Joyne at running back. You got a great defensive line with Crawford Poole and Anthony Strong. New quarterback Kobe McDonald coming in. And, John, they play Louisville week 1. Really intrigued to see that Jerel-Louisville matchup next week. Should be a lot of fun. They're a team I think they can compete, and I would put them in my top 10 right now if I had a top 10, of course. But a couple other names you always got to bring up, a team like Johnsonville, a team like Lakeview. You know, those guys are solid contenders every year out for Coach King and Coach Cribb there. Latta, a team that I feel like has been playing better football. I like what Coach Eisman does. Very well coached. I think they're going to have a solid season. Are they state title contenders? Probably not. But I think they've got some good talent there. And it's just tough to win it out because, it's so big. I mean, there's, I think, 58 teams in 1A, which is just nuts. I feel like I want to shout out everybody, and I know I can. But we've been through a lot. Anybody else you want to shout out in 1A that maybe didn't make this list, or even teams in the receiving votes you want to kind of give a little prop to here?
No, I think again, I might switch up some of these numbers a little bit, but I think if you take all these programs in the receiving votes, the pollsters did a pretty good job. The media did a pretty good job with this one. How that top 5 and bottom 5 shake out come the end of the year, no telling.
Yeah. I do want to shout out Wagner Sally. I think they've got some playmakers. I like Zamian Capers a lot there. I think they could be a team that could compete, especially on that 1A level there. And you got a team like Baptist Hill, Gordon Singleton kind of leading them. Coach Brown does a great job there. They're a fun program. I think it's going to be a fun season in 1A, just trying to kind of figure out, how these teams are going to shake out, because they're going to use the RPI as well for the playoffs. It'll be an interesting year in 1A. Jerel, comments from the chat on the 1A ranks, or from you as well if you want to pop in here too. Zach says it's going to be the FC and Bamberg Invitational. Certainly could be. Abbeville doesn't have the names it feels like, but they're going to be there at the end along with the Hampton County teams like that. Brandon says he likes Fairfield in 1A. They were really good last year. They had a chance to beat Strom Thurmond. I think they went for 2 and got stopped, and I believe that would have been the upper state final. They could have been right there playing for state last year in the 2A ranks. A lot of pieces back with Shannon and those guys out wide for sure.
Hey guys, the funnest thing that I did today when I was, making some notes and kind of finalizing stuff, looking at the region matchups, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I know we talked about Region 1 with Abbeville there. They've kind of dominated that region, but again, a team like Ware Shoals, they had a really good season last year.
Yeah,
so
what do they bring back? We'll see.
Yeah, what can they bring back? See if they can compete. I think with Region 2, you really look at Batesburg, Leesville, and you think that they're going to win that one. But then Region 3, you have Fairfield Central and Louisville together. So you get to see, obviously, that's going to be a primetime matchup come region play. Again, like you mentioned with Barnwell, Blackville, Hilda in Region 4, but also HKT. That's a team that we have talked about repeatedly, over the years, They really haven't had the success in the playoffs.
Trenton Summers, really big time athlete there for HKT, man, for Decay. He's a great player there for them.
Yeah. But really, you look at Region 5, that's the one you got circled. You got Central and Sherrall there. Chesterfield, what can they build on off of last year? And then also Lamar's in that region. So that's just going to be a slugfest. The thing that scares me with Region 6, and again, I don't know why I'm going to do this because I'm not going to pick against Bamberg all year, but you really don't see any competition for them in that particular region. I think they're going to kind of cruise through that one. So we really won't see what they're kind of made of until the playoffs start. I kind of feel the same way for Hampton County. Looks like they're going to kind of cruise in Region 7. Region 8 is a lot of fun with Cross and Baptist Hill. Those are two coaches, like you said, Coach Brown and Coach Wright, that you just have to admire what they do year in and year out. They just figure out ways to win, Cross especially in the playoffs. But another slugfest, 2 more, 9 and 10. You got Andrews. You don't know what they're going to be.
I've known they're going to throw it a lot. Usually they don't, but they've got the new quarterback, Avery Durham, Coach Durham's son, taking over. They're going to sling the rock all over the field, which you don't see a lot in 1A. So it could be a sneaky team there, the Yellow Jackets.
I think this is a really competitive region. So you got Andrews, Carvers Bay, Hannah Pamplico. What can they do? They really haven't taken off under Coach Woodbury, but you got to think that eventually it's going to catch on. Johnsonville and Kingstree. So I think that's a slugfest of a region there, 9. And then 10, like you mentioned, Ladd is a program that's been consistent. Lakeview had a down year by their standards. You got to think they're going to bounce back. And then Mullins and Marion, 2 teams with a ton of talent. can Mullins recapture their magic from 2 years ago? So a lot of intriguing like regions. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to keep up with there.
Yeah. And guys, like I said, make sure to watch that video when I put it out, breaking out the 1A upper and lower, and I guess big and little, whatever you're going to call it. Got to be really helpful as far as making picks and whatnot, because it's going to be an interesting thing to see how this all shakes out. I can't wait, man. And I do want to shout out one more 1A team. Oh, we got Jason says, don't sleep on Blacksburg. We know from 2A. Yeah, Trayvon Clark, really good player. I like him a lot for Coach Batchelor there. That's a group that I feel like are doing the right things in the program. Just got to make that run. But I wanted to shout out Allendale Fairfax. And just because we had Coach Kevin Jones on the program this offseason, one of the coolest interviews we've done. And I think, Jerel, you can probably comment on that as well. You know, his story and what he was talking about with the small town football there with Allendale Fairfax. You know, it's a water tower town. It's a football town, man. Really cool to hear kind of what his plans are for there. You know, they got some pieces, some young pieces as well as, Crenarius, Nickens and whatnot. I don't know if they'll be contenders this year, but I think he's going to build something good there. And I feel like he's a guy that wants to be there, which is what you need a lot of times in these small towns and these small programs.
Yeah, he's done it before. I mean, he's got a proven track record, especially working at a lower classification school, coming from Blackville Hilda a couple of years ago. If you do have the time, I mean, it's going to be 30, 40 minutes well spent to go listen to that interview. It was one of my favorite ones that we did this off season, like just trying to change the culture there. But really just, it's more than – being a football coach for him.
Yeah.
He's really trying to mold those young men because there's some that are in some difficult situations. So, and the kids just seem like they've really adapted to him, his style of coaching, his mentorship, and how he plans to lead that program. So I'm really excited to see what they have. And quite frankly, when we talked to him, I mean, we have not had the opportunity to talk about them in a positive spin over the years. So I'm excited to see what he can kind of get going there.
Yeah. So, guys, and I'll throw it up to y'all. Do y'all want to make picks for 1A since we hadn't really broken it out yet? Or do y'all want to just, we'll leave that for 2A and move on from here? Or what do y'all think?
I think, again, kind of echoing what Zach's saying, I think we all have the similar feelings that, Fairfield Central and Bamberg are the big dogs. The only thing I have an issue with the poll there is the fact that I know Fairfield Central, a little recency bias when it comes to them playing in the 2A, I guess that was Upper State Championship against Thurman. A lot of them feel like they should have won that game. Quarterback gets injured, takes a goal line stand, to really, help Thurman win that football game. So you have that recency bias. They drop down. You think automatically they're the best team, but I just don't understand how you disrespect Bamberg like that. I think
51st state, baby. I mean, they're ready for it.
you got to give like preseasons, defending state champs. You got to give them the benefit of the doubt. They should be ranked number one there. I mean, when we roll out a poll here in a few weeks ago, I'm going to have them number one for me, more than likely, unless something drastic changes. But that's the team. I got Bamberg, man. And Coach Crosby, I hope you're listening. You say you listen all the time. You called us out. We did that ring season recap down in Orangeburg as well. So I won't be picking against Bamberg this year. I really don't think so.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Well, yes, if Jerel, John, if you don't have any more comments, if no more comments from the chat, then let's shout out friends of the program, then move on to the 2A ranks.
Everyday life means everyday expenses. Spend smarter with a Founders Federal Credit Union credit card, offering you low rates and big rewards where it matters most. Enjoy all the benefits of saving while using your Founders Essential MasterCard. Make every swipe and tap count with smart rates, big rewards on select cards, and no balance transfer or annual fees. Because your money should go where you want it to. That's the power of Founders Federal Credit Union. Apply today at foundersfcu.com. Relax. You're with Founders.
With 3 convenient locations in Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville, Carolina Orthopedic and Neurosurgical Associates, CONA, offers the most advanced training and experience in orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, sports medicine, and pain management in the upstate. Go to CONA.care to learn more.
All right, John, let's take a look at the 2A ranks now. We'll go through that poll, and we'll give our thoughts on what we've got in that classification for this year.
Yeah, we got some good talking points here, too. First with receiving votes. Southside Christian, Andrew Jackson, Manning, Orangeburg Wilkinson, Timberland, Woodland, and East Clarendon. And then your top 10, you've got Saluda at 10, Chester Cyclones at 9, Marlboro County at 8, Philip Simmons at 7, Mountain View at 6, Woodruff is at 5, Newberry comes in at 4, Clinton at 3. They had 2 first place votes. Dillon 2, with six first place votes, and number 1, the Strom Thurmond Rebels, with 7 first place votes, the top of 2A.
And I'll say it, just looking through some stuff the last couple of days, kind of doing my prep and whatnot for these two shows. 2A might be my favorite classification this year, because I feel like it is just very wide open. You got the defending state champs, obviously Strom Thurmond there. They lose a lot with guys like Simpkins and Bryshon Lee and that crew going on, but they got some big time pieces back. Quarterback AJ Hillary comes over from North Augusta. You got the young running back Cade Wigfall, receivers Zy Rouse and Squirt Holmes. Defensively, Braylon Searles and Duger and Makai Quiller as well. Another transfer comes in for Coach Webb's group there. They are loaded for sure. They'll be a good team. I don't know if they're as quite as good as last year's team, but obviously we'll kind of see how that plays out throughout the season. Number 2, Dillon. A bit of a surprise for me there. I wonder if, and not saying they're not good, but I feel like they just have a lot of unproven pieces. Like I feel like that's a vote because, hey, they moved down to 3A. They're always good. Let's put them at number 2. But, the young quarterback Nebris Harrison takes over there. Running back Noah Singletary will pick up the slack there. Zay Carmichael out wide. A little bit worried about the depth up front for them on both sides of the ball. So we'll see how that shakes out for Coach Roller. But if defensively, Kelvin Manning's a big-time player, a linebacker safety spot too for Dillon. But they have a lot of unknowns. They got athletes, they always do, but just feel like they aren't quite proven right now in that number 2 spot.
Yeah, and but you got to give them some respect. They've got obviously an awesome program, and Oceanside has been kind of the thorn in their side in 3A. They dump that and they get to go to 2A. But yeah, a lot, again, kind of how we talked about with some teams in 1A. With the Wildcats, a lot of question marks with them. Yeah. You look at Newberry, I think, is another one at 4. Another team dropped, another really good team from 3A dropping to 2A. But again, a lot of big questions. House moves on. A cool thing I saw about House, I'll mention, ESPN put out, I think it was last week, freshmen to watch from each conference. And then they did, the group of 6. And Jamel House, number 1 player to watch. Very or freshman to watch. So that's really cool. But, to talk about the Bulldogs, hey, you got to replace that guy. Some big questions there. But it's really in Mountain View, it's 6. Another very talented new kid on the block to high school football, and now new on 2A. It's going to be very, very competitive. I think 1A is going to be great, but I'm agree with you, Kev. I think 2A is going to be very competitive past 1 through 5. I mean, I think really you could talk about the whole top 10 being very competitive and interchangeable.
Yeah, you look at Clinton, they lose a few key pieces here and there, but they've got a good nucleus back. Angelo Cromer, Rhett Gilliam, both can run the football for them. Owen Glenn, the quarterback, is back as well. Defensively, Avian James and Gilliam at that linebacker spot for Coach Campbell's defense. Coach Fountain does a fantastic job. We know that. They'll be a contender. That Woodruff group at 5 is really intriguing to me. they lose one of the best players in the state, Aiden Gibson, just a few weeks back as he decides to go to college early, reclassify. But they still got a lot of talent. Quarterback Connor Davis, 2,500 yards, 35 touchdowns last year. Running back Jalen Lyles had a great year as a backup. He'll step in as a starter this year. They've got a tight end, Micah McClintock, transferred in from Malden. He's an FAU commit, a really nice piece catching passes for them. Defensively, Malachi Thompson, Addison Davis at the linebacker spot to match up with a good offensive line, too, for Coach Sloan there. That's a team that I like a lot. Even without Gibson, I think they're a really, big-time 2A contender. You mentioned Mountain View Prep, John. They're a tough team to figure out. They had a really good quarterback, Mac Anderson, just transferred out a couple weeks ago, went to North Carolina. You got to replace him kind of last minute there. You got Jacoby Kelly stepping in. You got some good receivers with Savion Booker and Chase Richards. But it's just a lot of pieces still got to kind of mold together here as the season gets going for Coach Ramsey there. That number 7 squad, Philip Simmons, I like them with Coach Bendick. A really good air duo with Hayes Goddard and Ashton Kellerman. Goddard, 3,000 plus 36 touchdowns last year. I think those two throwing the ball around the yard could be some, a really good squad there for the Iron Horses.
Yeah, and I think they're a group that's been pretty underrated the last few years as well. It's a program that has been really solid the last couple years. They haven't quite gotten to that, lower state championship type level, but they're not far off. They're right there.
Yeah, agreed. Number 8, Marlboro County. They are really good, especially on defense. You got guys like Chavis and Williams and Ash and Walton, Majay McCoy as well. If they can get anything out of the offensive side with Trey Blakeney back at quarterback, Krishawn Smith at running back, if the offense steps up, they are a dangerous group there for Coach Johnson. What they've got on defense. Number 9, Chester. You can never sleep on those guys. Caleb Feaster is back. The absolute speed demon there in the backfield. 1,400 yards last year. They've got a nice player up front, Tyler Campbell there. First-year head coach Jerry Caldwell, an alum there for the Cyclones. I like that group. You know they're always going to be good. And number 10 is an intriguing team to me as well with Saluda. New quarterback Avery Cole taking over. Running back Tristan Daniels is back. Jameer Myers is back. Both all-region players last year. Running back receiver DB Jerel Hill leads the defense along with Setian Springs. Coach Warner in year 2, I think he's got a good group there with the Tigers. I don't know if they're quite in that top 2 or 3 level, but I think they've got a really good chance to make a deep run and really improve and be a good contender this year in 2A.
Yeah, I'd like to see Saluda have a little bit more consistency this year. Last year they were a little bit up and down, but again, a good program. They got talent. They got a lot of pieces in place to be very successful.
Yeah, and when you look down at the receiving votes, there's a team that I've got underlined that I'm really, really intrigued by this year. It's a team that's honestly, John, it's hard to believe they're in 2A, and that's Orangeburg-Wilkinson. I mean, you think of them as like a really big school, like 4A back in the day. They've dropped all the way down to 2A. They lost some pieces last year. You know, Jordan Avenger now at North Carolina. But they have just built a brand new turf field, brand new field house, brand new weight room. They've got a lot of kids showing up to play, maybe have not played the last couple of years. Coach Carter and crew has done a good job turning the program around. It feels like the last few years they've been kind of on a good trajectory there. I think this year they can tend to do that. They have good size up front, good receiver group. The quarterback looks good so far. I think that Bears squad is one that you got to keep an eye on there in 2A. I think they can make some real noise down there in Orangeburg.
I like that. You know, you got great momentum from a program standpoint, and then getting the new field, the new facility, you know, that's got to be exciting. Yeah. Getting some, and hey, anytime you can get more kids out there, you can drive a little more competition. And at the end of the day, at worst case scenario, you got more depth. You know, at this level at 2A, that's very important as well. But yeah, a lot of green arrows next to Orangeburg-Wilkinson. It would be fun to watch them this year too.
Yeah, I also want to mention a couple of the private schools in the upstate. Southside Christian and St. Joe's. Southside Christian, if you guys remember, started out 1-5 last year, won 5 in a row. They got real hot late, lost in the playoffs. You know, that was back at the 3A level. Coach Guess, a 7-time state title winner in Georgia. I think he's going to, you know, continue that program heading in a good direction. They lost their quarterback a couple weeks ago to an injury. That's tough. Excuse me. Had to bring up the JV kid there to start for them, Aaron Gilliam. But they got some good running backs in Jalen Samuel and Nigel Rock. 4 offensive linemen are back. 9 defensive returners with Hill and Glenn and Burgess. That's a program to look out for. And then similar with St. Joe's, a team that was really injury-ridden last year. Bring back some key pieces with Jack Stewart, Mac Rambo, 4 offensive linemen as well as Campbell on offense and Lyons and Granger on defense. Only lost 6 seniors off last year's team there. So if you bring back continuity at that lower level, that's a really big piece there for them. A couple of teams I wanted to shout out. I wanted to shout out Timberland. Carter Hawkins, I believe a Wake Forest commit at receiver. I may be wrong with that, but he's a big-time playmaker along with Gavin Harwell there for first-year head coach Brooks Burnett. They'll be a fun team to follow this year as well. John, anybody you want to shout out that's maybe outside of the top 10 or maybe in that receiving votes that you want to give some shine to tonight on the program?
You know, I will say this, you know, that team, Andrew Jackson, you always got to keep an eye out on those guys. They are, you know, they were a team last year that they started off pretty slow and we didn't really pay attention to them. And then they pulled off a couple upsets. You know, that's a team that's just, you can't forget about. And also I want to give a shout out to Timberland as well, because they had such a good team last year. They looked really good last year, and they were, you know, I think they only won maybe 2 playoff games, but they had a really good season. That's a group that is, or a program that's really turned the corner last couple of years too. That's a good group. And I'm surprised you didn't say anything about Manning. Manning's a team that's gotten a lot of love last couple of years, and now they're kind of back page right now. Not back page, but they're outside that top 10, maybe a little chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, and Coach Kennedy's going to use that as some motivation for that group there. They've always got a really strong squad down there, so I think they're a group that could certainly contend this year. I want to shout out Liberty, new head coach Bobby Ruff coming down from Liberty University to be the head coach now. They're a team that I think is going to be good in the next couple of years. Josiah Coleman at quarterback, Caden Blasingame, defensively linebacker Cullen Spence. They're a team to keep an eye on. And Keenan, they've been a team that's kind of been up and down, John, for the last couple of years. They've got a really good running back, Hunter O'Neal, back for a senior season. I think he's going to do a good job there for Coach Neely as well. A team that intrigues me that we just it feels like it's crazy to be in 2A and not talk about these guys for the last 20 minutes is Silver Bluff. A proud program that we saw play for a state title just a few years back, have some really nice runs, some really nice talent outside of that the last couple of years. New head coach Lemuel Lackey comes in. Interested to see what the Bulldogs have this year, a team that they're going to have talent. It's hard to believe that they would be this down for this many years in a row. So looking for big things out of that Bulldog program as well this year. Jerel, any comments from the chat or from you on the 2A ranks? Anybody you want to shout out we didn't mention? I'm trying to think anybody else as we go through here. Crescent, I like the quarterback Mason Evans a lot. He's a really good player for them. I like what he's doing as well there for the Tigers.
No, you got everything covered, man. I'm really kind of upset that you talked about ODub like that because that was going to be one of my sleepers, man. I just can't believe they're not getting any love. It's a program. They have really picked it up, especially the last 2 years. Talked to Coach Carter a couple of years ago as they were, having a good run in 3A and them dropping down. I just really don't understand how they're not getting mentioned. But I think this is one, like you mentioned, 2A, it could be topsy-turvy. I mean, we could flip this whole thing with the amount of teams that we really, because there's just so many pieces that have been lost for these programs that have been good recently, and you just really don't know who's going to stand out until the game starts getting played. So this one's tough preseason. Going through the regions, like you mentioned, Crescent, Liberty, Pendleton, St. Joe's in Region 1, I think they're going to be, very difficult games there. Liberty 8-4 last year, so I think Coach Ruff has got a good foundation to work with. I mean, it's a really good team. I want to say Pendleton as well. Look out for them with Coach Grayson Howe. Getting to get down to the 2A ranks there. Quarterback Jackson Allman, Mello Mattress, Sam Jennings, Bray Spear, Deshaun Jenkins as well. They got some good players there for Coach Howe. I think they could be a good team. Yeah, Zach and Brandon have mentioned this in the chat. Region 2 is just murderer's row right there. I mean, Chesney, Clinton, Mountain View. Mountain View is very intriguing because you really don't know what they lost. I think that's going to be tough. And Woodruff losing Gibson, I think they would have been head and shoulders the favorite if Gibson's still there with what they have coming back. Him leaving kind of brings them back down to the pack. So, again, Southside Christian, Coach Guess, I think that's just going to be a dogfight week in and week out. Go to Region 3, last one in Upper State. Like John mentioned with AJ there, Coach Smith, they do a great job. They sneaky good team always. Looking at Newberry dropping down, looking at Chester. I think those are your top two teams, though. And then looking at 4, like you mentioned, ODub, Saluda, Silver Bluff, and Thurman. Another just dogfight region there. I mean,
Pelion, first year Coach Bennett there, too. They're a sneaky good team.
But that's the thing you did highlight, Saluda and Silver Bluff. I mean, these are two teams last year that really came on strong at the end of the season. So you got to think that momentum going into the offseason and kicking off this year is really going to be beneficial. Go down to 5. I think Phillip Simmons, Timberland, Woodland. I think Phillip Simmons wins that region pretty easily. They lost a shootout to Central. I think it was in the 3rd round. I think they've gotten to the 3rd round.
I think it was in the 50s. But it was
I think it was 57-47. So, if Coach Bender can get that defense tightened up a little bit, I think that's a team they can obviously score points. They've been scoring points and done it in contrasting styles. They've thrown the ball. They've had 2,000-yard rushers a couple years ago, so they can really get it done. And then I think that Region 6 as well. You got Marlboro County, Manning, and Dillon as well. I mean, these are some really, really great regions. I think we're shaping up some good football, and I could see all of these teams not being ranked in a couple of weeks and just completely flipping it, or we could be the exact same teams just in a different order. I think it's that competitive in 2A.
Yeah, 2A is going to be great. Like I said, teaser for tomorrow night's show. I think 2A and 4A are the two classes I'm really, really intrigued by and looking forward to the most outside of everything we got this year. So look forward to those. Drew, any comments from the chat on the 2A ranks here before we make some early, way too early, wrong predictions?
Yeah, we'll throw a couple comments up here. Usual suspects always in here. We appreciate the comment.
Yep. Zach says Clinton region is loaded. It certainly is. Brandon says Region 2 is the toughest in 2A. Yeah, that's a really, really good region, like you mentioned there, Jerel, in Region 2.
Yeah, Maurice, we did talk about Trump there, and they're ranked number 1, so we talked about
went through them first. Another team that we're high on. You get some new faces there, Maurice, but a team that we know will be there. Coach Webb does a fantastic job there. They're going to be supported by that crowd and fan base for sure. So it should be a fun team to follow. Dion says 2A runs to the Peach Fields. Defending champs, man, so certainly has to. Zach says Newberry lost to Fountain Inn tonight, 21-0 at the Woodruff Jamboree. And, I know we kind of glossed over Newberry's because I think we just don't know a lot of the names yet. I mean, they lost so many seniors, Kenton Caldwell and Jamel House and Jameer Crooks. And, they've got a couple pieces up front with Sanders and McDowell back. I think the edge, Dontavius Griffin, is back. But we just don't know a lot of the playmakers yet for Coach Jeter's squad. But that's a team that has been on the rise as well. He's done a good job with that program. So we think they will hopefully get better as the season goes. And that score, does that say more about Newberry or more about Fountain Inn? I don't know, because I'll tell you.
I think we're going to be talking about Fountain Inn.
I like the Fury. I'll just tell you that right now.
We'll save that for tomorrow, but if I'm a Newberry fan, that score doesn't make me too worried right now.
Yeah, I like the Fury. Ryan says, don't sleep on Saluda. Yeah, and that's the team, like I said, I think they're at the number 10 spot, but I could see them being a little bit higher than that. Then again, do sleep on Saluda. Hey, we can't win with you guys. That's how it goes, man. But yeah, that'll be a team that's fun to follow as they kind of get rolling here with some new pieces, but some good pieces for sure for Coach Werner there.
And one of the great home field atmospheres.
Get that purple smoke flowing, boys.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
And Allie, we talked about Blackville, Hilda, and Williston in the 1A portion of the show. So if you want to rewind it once we get this published, you can go ahead and hear all about them.
Yeah, certainly do that. Well, guys, let's do you want to make some 2A picks, upper state, lower state? Obviously, this is bound to be wrong. That's how it always goes. But if we can just get maybe one team right out of the three of us, that would be great. So
this is tough.
Who wants to go first? I mean, this one's a tough one. This whole class is tough for me.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go Clinton out of the upper state.
I like it. Okay.
I feel like they've gotten some bad luck last few years, and it's bound to turn their way here.
Give me Woodruff. I'm going to ride with Woodruff this year.
I like it.
Let's see what they can do.
I like that. You know what? Man, I won't. I'm too scared to do it. I think I'm going to go for the storyline. I'm going to go Woodruff. Okay. You lose your best player 3 weeks before the season. You somehow make a state title run. I'm a buying on the storyline there. And then the lower state is where it gets real. I mean, it's tricky there as well. I'm going to run it back. Strom Thurmond again out of the lower state.
Safe
I think
pick.
there's a lot of teams that could contend for that, but I think the Rebels, I think they're going to put it together and make another deep run this year.
We can mark this. We can do whatever we want with this, but I want to have some fun. I'm going to Marlboro County.
Yeah, there we go, John. There we go.
Hey, the defense, I'm telling you, is good. Like, the defense is really good. And people, I think people have gotten they don't want them to be good because they had those situations a couple years ago with suspensions and whatever. And people just kind of want to write them off and not think about them. And some of that is Marlboro County's own doing. Kind of they're off there by themselves. Like, they don't have a lot of media coverage up there, so they are kind of flying under the radar. But, man, I'm telling you, they can play football there. That squad for the Bulldogs is going to be good this year.
Just because John's having fun, I want to have fun too. Let me go Phillip Simmons. Let's do it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Sling it around the yard. Let's go Phillip Simmons this year. But I mean, obviously, Thurman's the heavy favorite. Thurman, Dillon. You think about those programs; they're the heavy favorites. But yeah, let's go Phillip Simmons just for fun.
Going to be a lot of fun. Any more comments from the chat, Jerel, before we shout out some friends of the program to roll through the SCISA ranks right quick? Marlboro is truly a sleeper. They are, Kurt. I mean, Kurt, like, it just people don't know about them, don't talk about them, don't see them. And even last year they were kind of down, and they won at least one, if not two, playoff games. They hammered Swansea early in the playoffs. I mean, they were solid last year, and I think they're even better this year. Noah thinks the Wolverines will be pretty tough this year. Yeah, I think so too, man. I think Aiden Gibson was such a dynamic playmaker, not only running but receiving as well. That's a tough loss to have, but they've got some pieces around him, man. They've got some really good really good talent there for Coach Sloan. I think they'll be a good squad along with the great home field atmosphere as well. Zach's going to blame John. I love it. Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Hey, we can't do the first show without getting a little bit of heat.
That's right. That's right.
It's always fun. I got a little some Strom Thurmond.
Boss man says Strom Thurmond. Yeah. I think that's a good pick, man. It's just in any sport, any classification, any league, it is so tough to win a championship, and it's so tough to go back to back. Like, I mean, nothing against any of the guys there in the Peach Fields, nothing against Coach Webb, but that is a tough thing to do. Love to see.
That was a really good team last year.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and they won by 2 points in the upper state championship game. I mean, at home. I mean, that's just how it's just got to be your year. Last year was their year. I think Deuce is also a Strom Thurmond fan. Better
than last year. I'm intrigued to see that. Because I think it's just you got some younger guys that maybe haven't played quite as much as that group had last year with Phillips and Simpkins and Lee. But you got a lot of playmakers. I mean, I say Wigfall and Rouse are really good. I'm intrigued to see what Hillary can do now that he's the full-time starter. Last year was kind of splitting some time there at North Augusta. Now he is the guy. Interested to see how he shakes out there on the offensive spot.
And Ryan, that's all we do. That's why we're here. It's all locker room material. That's what we do.
Hey,
put us on the screen. I don't care. Just tag us, please. Yeah.
You said Marlboro County won a couple playoff games last year. They crushed Swansea. Second round, Oceanside beat them 24-7.
Okay, they won one. That is 24-7 to Oceanside.
Some people would call that a win.
Yeah. No moral victories here, but I'm just, I don't know.
It'll raise your eyebrows.
Yeah. Well, Jerel, let's shout out some friends of the program. They'll come back and go through the SCISA ranks here on the program.
I would give him 15 out of 10 stars. He'll always be super satisfied with Preferred.
And they're still getting great reviews.
I recommend them to everyone.
Don't wait. Call Preferred Home Services today to schedule your Precision 21-point tune-up for just $79.
5-star performance! Most trusted. Most convenient.
And still the most experienced.
Preferred Home Services. Go, 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 Preferred!
Looking for top-notch sports gear and uniforms? Look no further than First Team Sports. With 30 years of serving the Carolinas, First Team Sports is your local full-service dealer. From youth teams to colleges, we've got you covered with team uniforms, staff apparel, letterman jackets, sports equipment, and facility branding. Visit our local store in Greenville or firstteamsc.com. Make First Team your first choice.
Founders Federal Credit Union means banking made for you. The on the go, the pick up and go, and the I want to go. Because at Founders, we give you the financial tools that make every dollar work for you. For the little things to the big things. For your future and your peace of mind. We'll always stay grounded in our roots, but reaching beyond what you'd expect is where we'll always go. Find out what our members already know and enjoy a new way to bank. Relax. You're with Founders.
Let's take a look at the SCISA ranks right quick, John. Obviously, a smaller classification in each level, so not as many teams in the rankings here. Once again, this is a poll that is not ours, which using it as talking points here. Looking at 4A in SCISA, we've got number 6, Lawrence Manning, number 5, Porter Gowd, number 4, Heathwood Hall, number 3, Hammond, number 2, Pinewood Prep, and number 1, Northwood Academy. 4A for the longest time was ran by Hammond. State title, I think they won 8 in a row. Last year didn't even make it to the state final. Got knocked off by Heathwood Hall. Northwood wins the state title. You get a team like Pinewood Prep moving up from 3A. They've won back-to-back state titles. I think 4A is going to be really interesting. Lawrence Manning, head coach David Rankin comes over. Quarterback Granger Powell, Pearson Gamble at the running back spot, Asher Sanders, Scoot Dennis. They've got some good pieces there at Lawrence Manning to make a decent run. Heathwood Hall, new quarterback Harrison Hartley, Keon McKinley out wide with Alan Rodriguez. Running back Jackson Dickerson, defensively Belzer, Morgan Glass, and Edwards for Coach Timer Zimmerman there. Northwood quarterback Kevin Johnson's back for Johnny Waters and crew. And then Hammond, Jackson Ross. You got the South Carolina commit there with him. Outside of that, you've got lost my notes here. Sorry, guys. Kanye Reed, Asher Goss on offense, Hugh Manning on defense. Coach Wheeler's bunch always contender. I think 4A and SCISA going to be really fun this year. And it was – for the longest time, like I said, just kind of boring. Like, you knew it was going to be the Skyhawks, but now I think there's legit 3-4, contenders to win that state title this year. A lot of folks are thinking Northwood goes back-to-back. I don't know if that's the case. I like what Pinewood Prep brings back with Devontae Holloman. the quarterback Silas Brawner's a great player with Lucas and Green outside. I think Pinewood's a really good squad, and you got to think Hammond, too, wants to get back on top there in 4A as well.
What kind of chance do you think Lawrence Manning has?
It's hard to say because they're a team that has been very up and down. I think this is their 4th head coach in 4 years. So if they can get some stability there, they've got talent, but I don't know if they're ready to win a state title this year. I feel like they may be, a year or two away from, having the culture and the that type of stuff that you need to make a deep run. But I think if I had to pick, I would say I think Hammond gets it done this year, just because I think, it's hard to see them not winning 2 in a row. But I think Hammond knocks off Pinewood Prep in the state final to win the title. Well, like I said, I think Heathwood and Northwood are both contenders as well. Just I think they don't quite get it done this year. But that's the guys I like, Hammond over Pinewood Prep. John, what do you like? Jerel, what do you like there in that 4A SCISA rank?
I think Northwood does it again. I think they're going to have to go through Hammond this time to do it. Mm-hmm. But I think Northwood goes back to back.
Give me the easy money. I'm going Hammond. I mean, I think they just get back on top. It's easy to pick Northwood. A great story last year for sure. Yeah. Again, it was nice to see somebody else win, but I think Hammond gets back behind Ross.
Yeah, 2 more teams I want to mention. Ben Lippin, Colin Geiger, Jamari Carmichael, good players for Coach Weigel. Interested to see what they do this year. And then Porter Gowan, year 2 for Coach Matt Neighbors. Bit of a quarterback battle going on right now, but they've got some good talent around him. I'm intrigued to see what he does in year 2, a program that, we know has been right there to the top before. So they've always got talent, it feels like, there for the Cyclones. Looking at the 3A ranks now, we've got number 6, First Baptist, number 5, Hilton Head Christian, number 4, Wilson Hall, number 3, Trinity Collegiate, number 2, Florence Christian, and number 1, Bethesda. Bethesda state title last year in 2A. They move up to 3A this year. Quarterback Jordan Turner is back. Always have talent there for them. Florence Christian, quarterback Riley Minton is a big piece for them, along with William Hicks, Jackson Neely, and Hayden Schwab. Hilton Head Christian lost a decent bit of talent last year. Still have some senior leaders in Lang Halls and Joseph Hout. Wilson Hall with Coach Jarecki's always tough. Trinity Collegiate led by Robert Mack and Andre Jackson and Garrison Copeland for Coach Fagan's bunch there. A team I want to shout out in 3A, Spartanburg Christian, the Warriors. Head coach Zach Theus comes over from Calhoun Falls Charter. We had him on this offseason. He was like, this program, they want to win. Like, they want to commit to football. They've always been a really good basketball team, really good baseball team. They're not done in football. Now they want to. So they went out and hired a great coach, Coach Theus. They got some talent with Noah Caffell and Jacob Wiley, Hamilton Hudson, Aiden Wagner. Intrigued to see what they can do there, the Warriors over in Spartanburg. But I think this is a tough one here for me because I like that Bethesda group. They're always talented. I like Florence Christian as well. But I think Trinity Collegiate, it might be their time. Like, they're a team that I feel like has had some good talent the last couple of years, hadn't quite got it done yet. I think Coach Fagan has a team that's ready to make a deep run like that.
I like Wilson Hall.
Coach.
I know that's kind of, maybe a little bit of an easy pick, but I like Wilson Hall.
I mean, they've always got talent, and that offense they run with that kind of flex bone kind of type thing is really tough to prepare for. He does a great job up front. They've lost some key guys like Ford Wilder and Millen Galloway, but they got playmakers to step up and take those positions for sure.
Yeah, I like Trinity as well, but I don't like them to win the state title. I'm going Florence Christian this year.
Ooh,
I like what they bring back. Yeah, I like Florence Christian this year. I think they get it done, but would not be surprised if it's Trinity again. Bethesda is very interesting moving up. We'll see how they do in a higher classification.
Yeah, and then you look at Northside Christian as well, a team that has been really good the last couple of years as well in the ranks. See what they do this year will be interesting for the Crusaders there. Looking down the 2A ranks, we've got number 6, Colleton Prep, number 5, PD Academy, number 4, Orangeburg Prep, number 3, Calhoun Academy, number 2, Greenwood Christian, number 1, Williamsburg Academy. Williamsburg Academy will be good again. Coach Will First there does a great job. That program that's always a contender, it feels like. Greenwood Christian, don't know a lot about them yet this year, John. Coach Rooney's bunch has been kind of flying under the radar. They should be solid, I feel like. Patrick Henry's got a couple good senior leaders with Jay Bishop and Luke Sobey. Orangeburg Prep with quarterback Charlie Williams there, second-year head coach Brooks Smith, there. And then let's see what's on shout out. Spartanburg Day, first year of varsity. Have not played varsity football yet. We played some B team in JV. Coach Moffitt steps in there to lead them into that 2A rank. It'll be fun to see what they can do. And then PD, got to mention them, led by running back linebacker Judson Martin. Got to find a few things in the passing game there for Coach King's bunch, but they're always a good squad there down in Mullins. 2A's, I think it's Williamsburg right now. I think they're the favorite to me. I think the Stallions have a good group there for Coach First.
I like Williamsburg too. I mean, they just seem to have a really good athletics program, and it's, feel like we talk about Williamsburg all the time. I like them as well.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and make it a clean sweep. I like Williamsburg as well. Again, they just seem like a program that's destined to just continue their success. I like them to win this one.
Yeah. Down in the 1A ranks, we've got Clarendon Hall at number 6, Thomas Hayward number 5, number 4, Carolina, number 3, Holly Hill, number 2, Beaufort, number 1, Dorchester. Dorchester for Coach Michael Nelson. Really good up front. Entire offensive line is back. Will Quattlebaum, Jack Karn, Jack Wetzel, and then quarterback Reed Almer steps in there for that Raiders bunch. Number 2, Beaufort Academy. Great skill guys. Need somebody up front and at the quarterback spot to kind of step up there for Coach Schuford. Number 3 is intriguing, and that's Holly Hill. Have been a 8-man terror for the last years. Now moving to 11-man football here in the 1A ranks. Intrigued to see how they play as they go up. Parker Kaiser is back at quarterback. I feel like he's been playing for years, scoring 60, 70, 80 touchdowns a year. We'll see how that goes this year for Coach Heydrich and the boys in the 1A ranks. But fun to see them make that transition back up to 11-man. Really going to be cool to see how that goes in that respect as well. But I think in 1A for me, I think Dorchester is a team I like the best there. Outside of that, I guess it's Beaufort maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to make yet of Holly Hill. And then 2 sleepers kind of will be like Lee and Thomas Hayward. Lee Academy, a little bit down last year. Intrigued to see what they have. And then Thomas Hayward as well. You lose Tony O'Banner. You lose Josh Gibson. You got to think that they're probably not going to make that deep of a run, but you never know. I think Dorchester is my favorite as well.
I like Dorchester. I hope Dorchester wins. Holly Hill will be fun, but I think putting too much pressure on them in year one, I think that's a lot to ask. That's you're not going from a classification to a better, a bigger classification. You're playing different football. You're asking kids to do something that they really haven't had to do before, not in live action. I hope, and they should be really fun to watch, and it'll be a cool dynamic seeing them make that transition. But as far as state championship goes, I don't want to put that pressure on them. Not this year.
Yeah.
Let me put the pressure on them. Let's go Holly Hill. It's fun. Why not?
Coach Heydrich's going to love it. I love it.
That's right. They've been terrorizing everybody else in 8-man. Let's see what they could do, going 11 here. I think it's fun. Again, I think Dorchester's the favorite, but let's go with Holly Hill just for fun.
And down in the 8-man rankings, number 6 coming in is Wardlaw, number 5, Community Christian, number 4, Andrew Jackson Academy, number 3, Lawrence Academy, number 2, Jefferson Davis, and number 1, W.W. King. W.W. King, Coach Matthews there in Batesburg, has been a really good squad for a long time. They're intriguing to follow for me. Lawrence Academy with quarterback Ethan Collins and running back Caleb Hardy. That's a good group there. Andrew Jackson, they're intriguing. They're going back to 8-man from 11. Running back Ollie Barnes. Defensively, you got Mathis and Johnson and Tucker. They're a good squad there as well. So intriguing to see, JDA, Jefferson Davis, has always been, one of the favorites right there with Holly Hill. It feels like it's those two guys back and forth. With your an occasional, you get a Richard Wynn maybe popping in or a King Academy popping in. But I can't wait to see how this year goes. I actually think I like Andrew Jackson as my favorite. I'm going against the polls there. I'm going to go with the Andrew Jackson Academy squad there. As the favorite in 8-man.
Certainly easier to make that transition going back down. Now, I'm going to go with Lawrence Academy. I think they get a little revenge.
I like that. Jerel, who do you like in the 8-man ranks?
Give me JDA, just low-hanging fruit there. I think, again, they've been one of the favorites year in and year out. We talk about them relentlessly each season, so I think they're proven winner. I think they win the title this year.
I like that. Once again, guys, none of these polls tonight we talked about were our polls. We were just using them as kind of a kicking off point for the discussion from folks that put those out. But, Jerel, let's shout out friends of the program, come back and do a little housekeeping here, and then we will get out of here. Unless there's some comments we throw on the screen. I don't know if we have any comments or not, but feel free if there is to throw them out there before we get going again.
Everyday life means everyday expenses. Spend smarter with a Founders Federal Credit Union credit card, offering you low rates and big rewards where it matters most. Enjoy all the benefits of saving while using your Founders Essential MasterCard. Make every swipe and tap count with smart rates, big rewards on select cards, and no balance transfer or annual fees. Because your money should go where you want it to. That's the power of Founders Federal Credit Union. Apply today at foundersfcu.com. relax. You're with Founders.
The George Agency has been serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 40 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Murrells Inlet, but they can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, and more, so wherever you are, they can help. Give Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew a call or check them out online at thegeorgeagency.net. That's thegeorgeagency.net. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. If you did not see it, we will have our 3A, 4A, and 5A season preview show tomorrow night at 7:15. And then next Tuesday, we'll be back with our week 1 preview show, so 7:15. I'll go ahead and say it now. I'm very excited that we got rid of that dumb week 0 nonsense. We can just call it week 1 now. I love that. So we'll have that next week. But tomorrow night, 3A, 4A, 5A, I hope you guys will join us there. As always, we're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Twitter at Movin Chains. Follow us there. Follow us on TikTok, on Instagram. Everything we do, please follow us there. Please tell your friends. Help share it. Help push it out. We'd love to make this thing bigger and better each and every week. Love to have you check out our website, movingchange.com, our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Moving the Change is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Like we said earlier, buy your Moving the Change merch. Get some T-shirts, black T-shirt, gray T-shirt, navy blue. Get that. Get your performance T-shirt like we had earlier. The white one here. We got great hoodie options, a nice performance hoodie, a nice old school hoodie as well. Everything we have, I like to say, John, is like pretty high quality. Like it's not like cheap stuff. Like it feels good. It's very nice to wear around. Great stuff there. Great hats as well. Richardson hats, black front, gray front, black back, whatever you want. And then your stickers and your toboggans as well. Email us, info@movingchange.com. Send us a DM on social media. Love to have you repping the boys as we go across the state. You know, we'll be going out to games starting next Friday, so hopefully you see you guys out there at some of those. But Jerel, John, any final thoughts here on SCISA 1A and 2A here on this preview show?
You know, we get it every 2 years, right? The realignment, and I like it. I know there's always controversy, and when it happens, we get together and we talk about what we think are good decisions, knucklehead decisions, and everything in between. But when we get to this point of the season, what we're looking forward to kickoff, it's really fun to see a little bit of shakeup and see things change a little bit. And it's exciting. It's really exciting, especially in the lower classifications, I think. So I'm excited about to see the 2A teams that are dropping down to see how they compete, and the 3A teams dropping down to 2A and seeing who's really going to take advantage of that. And also, my uncle would tell me, good football is good football. It doesn't matter what class you are. If you're good, you're good. You can play with anybody. Anybody that plays Oceanside Collegiate could attest to that. So it'll be fun to watch, but I'm glad to see a little bit of shake up on the regions. I think that's going to be exciting to watch and ready to get to it. And also that white T-shirt, that performance shirt, that's one of the most comfortable shirts I have. That's a really
tell the people, get yours today.
Yeah,
get yours today.
Love it. No, I love reclass years are fun. I mean, you get, obviously new regions, you get new schedules, non-region as well. I really am really interested to see how the RPI shakes things up, because non-region, previously really didn't matter, but it matters now. Like it's going to affect seeding in the playoffs. Really interested to see what's going to happen in 1A with so many teams, going down, splitting that into 2 divisions. I think that's going to be really fun, especially too. It's going to be hard for me to keep up with who's like upper and lower in those, because they're shared regions as well. Like you might have a region champ and the second place is the 1 seed or whatever it is. So that's going to be kind of fun to keep up with as we go through the year. And then 2A, I think, is just going to be a dogfight, completely, just competitive. There's maybe one region that's not going to be uber competitive, but I think the other 5 are really there. So excited to kind of get done with talking season. I know we've got a few more jamborees. Again, we've got a couple more coaches interviews, so please check those out. And I know you guys are getting back in the swing of things. We did our new coaches series this off season. So please go and check some of those out. We had some really, really great interviews with some really talented people that are going to be leading some programs this year. So go check those out, and it'll definitely scratch that itch as you get prepared for the season as well. They're going to tell you, restaurants to eat at, players to watch on their teams, and a lot of cool things about individual programs.
Yeah, certainly go check that out. Those were a lot of fun to do. I mean, and it's great to get a look kind of behind the curtain. Like, you don't get to see these guys or talk to them much, so it's great to kind of get some more insight from them on what really makes them tick and what some of their philosophies are. So it was really cool to hear that. We got a little more time to talk some smack about a week or so before they really get rolling, but hopefully you guys will be here with us throughout the time. Like I said, tune in tomorrow. I'll have that 1A video probably in the morning popping out, kind of showing who's in what division there. And then tomorrow night we'll have 3A, 4A, and 5A. Be a lot of fun to talk through those three classes. Man, there's some big dogs and some really, really good matchups coming down the road we can see in those classes. It'll be a lot of fun to follow that. But I think that's all I got, unless you have anything else you want to drop in here, John, Jerel, or do we want to wrap here for the week or for the night?
Feels good.
Perfect. One last thing. If you guys ever miss any part of the show, it's always there at the beginning. Once we finish this, it'll be live. You can go check it out at the beginning. If you missed us talking about 1A or 2A, you can go back and watch it. So go do that. Tell all your friends, like, share, comment. Love to have you spread the word and make this a really big season for us and for everybody in high school football. So for Jerel Hendricks and John Epps, I'm Kevin Thomas. This has been our Moving the Chains 1A, 2A, and SCISA season preview show. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin' the Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin' Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.